Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of the podcast. Today, the pod talks every single Thursday. We're here joined by Alisa, and today we're gonna be talking about relationships because it's Valentine's week. Yesterday was Valentine's, so we thought, why not? Let's talk about something a little bit different because I think like your relationship can really affect your fitness in a way, and that's exactly what we're gonna be talking about. How your relationship can positively impact your fitness, and also how maybe sometimes it doesn't always help you with your fitness journey. So how are you today, Alisa? Thank you for being here. I know you're sick, but you're here with us talking. How are you feeling?
Yeah, so for those listening or watching, I sound very congested. So I'm a bit sick at the moment, but I was like, I'm still gonna come on. It was a good topic. I'm like, don't want to miss it. So yeah, just if you hear or see me just blow my nose every now and then, just don't mind me.
Yeah, thank you for your commitment. Thank you so much. Yeah, but maybe let's start by sharing more about like a little bit more about your own, like our own relationships. Like, do you,
Yeah.
because I know your partner, your husband, he's really into his fitness. And I feel like that makes a huge difference. Like, but what, like, has he always been into his fitness, or did he maybe just started when you guys were going out together, or it's always been like this?
Yeah, so he's always like had the background of like training and whatnot. So when I met him, he already like was training and doing all of that, but he wasn't as into the bodybuilding side probably until I met him. And then he actually really loved the sport and whatnot after I did it. So that was really good. But he's always been someone who like really cared about the way that he looks and whatnot. So, he was always training, which was good because he understood that that was a part of my life as well.
Mhm.
And because he was into it, it was a lot easier because we know that we need to set time in our day to focus on that. So, I think it's really hard if one person is into it and the other person's not, because, for example, even when we've had occasions, we'll both be like, okay, we're going to train in the morning, or let's train before. So I think being on that same level is really good. Like even Christmas Day, there's been a lot of Christmases where we've trained. You know what I mean? Because Christmas Day, for like, especially if it falls like on a weekday, it's like it's still part of our schedule. So yeah, so it does really help. And I think I've more just influenced him probably more with the diet side as well. When I met him, he was still eating good, but he was obviously living at home, eating his mum's food. And now we're into the whole like we'll meal prep for the week and whatnot. And he's been like that. He's very routine eater. Like he eats the same thing every day
Mhm.
without fail. So, which makes it easier because on Sunday we prep for the week. And like I'm not running around every night trying to cook him like a gourmet dinner, or it's like, oh, what are we having for dinner tonight? He literally has protein, veg, and carbs every night, just changes around the protein. So it's really easy, which is good because I have a lot of friends and their partners are like, oh, let's set a menu. I want pasta this day. I want lasagna this day. I want this day. And it's like they're making something
Mhm.
different every night. And it's like so that would be hard. And yeah, so I think that's a lot easier. So yeah, he's always kind of been into it. I've probably just influenced him a little bit more, yeah, like with the bodybuilding side and the prep. What about you? What about your partner?
Okay, so my situation is a little bit different. He was really into his fitness before, like when we started going out.
Yeah.
He was not a bodybuilder, but he was into like bodybuilding training. He was really into his diet and everything. And then we started going out. He was still into his fitness. Even now, he still is into his fitness, but not as much as before. And that's because before he was at a different job. Now he's doing real estate,
Mm.
which means a lot of hours, a lot of work, a lot of phone calls, a lot of everything. And he's often, yeah, I think right now he's prioritizing maybe that a little bit more and not too much his fitness, which obviously it annoys me, but there's only so much I can do, you know.
Yeah.
It's even if it's your partner, there's only so much you can do.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, yeah, he's working so much, you know, he wanna do better, he wants to learn more, he's doing more things. So yeah, right now I would say for him, his fitness is not like a top priority. It is one of
Yeah.
it's up there somewhere, but it's not
Okay, yeah.
top. Yeah. But I
Yeah.
feel like because I've been doing this for so long, like fitness is just part of who I am. Fitness is my lifestyle. Even if he's not really into his fitness too much now, that doesn't affect me. Because
Yeah.
I just don't let it affect me, because like it's my routine, wake up early, go to the gym.
And he probably understands it because he has been in that kind of mindset before,
Yeah.
like before you guys. So he probably understands like where you're coming from as
Mhm.
well.
Yeah,
Because
I mean, yeah, when we went camping last year for 2 weeks, we made sure to train. And that's because he had the time. You know, we were camping, we were
yeah,
gone for 2 weeks, so he had the time. So he was fine with like coming with me to the gym. We were not training together, but just making the time. Okay, we're gonna wake up, first thing is gonna be the gym, and then we can do whatever we want. So that
yeah,
was a priority. So yeah, I will say, yeah, if with him it's like on and off, on and off. And it's funny because people expect maybe your partner to be on top of his game because you're a coach. And they're like, oh, but isn't, you're a coach, why don't you help your boyfriend, or why don't you help your partner to like be on top of everything? But it's like, it doesn't work like that. Like this,
yeah,
there's only so much you can do, and you cannot push someone if someone doesn't want to do it 100%. If they're ready, whenever they're ready, whenever they truly want to do it, they will do it. But I feel like, yeah, I just don't want to force anyone, not him, not my mom, like no one to like do something
yeah,
I do. He will see whenever he's ready, he will do it. And I know it's kind of, maybe I'm contradicting myself, because I always say like there's never a perfect time, and you will never feel ready. You just have to get it done.
yeah.
But it's like respecting his priorities as well. Because for him
Yeah,
right now, it's his work. For me, it's always gonna be my fitness. Like that's not gonna change for me
yeah,
at all. Yeah.
exactly. And it's like it's even you'll probably notice this with like when you speak to people online or clients and whatnot, there's only so much that you can do to convince someone. Like I've actually had people come to me and I'm just like, look, you're not ready because you're not ready to make it a priority. Like it's not something that, it's gonna just magically happen from you doing nothing. You do have to make it a priority. So sometimes it's like people really need to reevaluate, is it like, can it be a priority for them? Like it can, but they've got to make the decision to do that. And like same thing with like with my husband, he's done really long hours this week. He hasn't got to the gym as much as he would like, but for him, he feels really bad about it and shit. So that's why for him, he's like, like next week I've got to be better with like, managing my time and whatnot. But sometimes, and this is the thing, sometimes work and life does take over where it can kind of muck up your usual schedule and whatnot. So he's just like, you know what, I'm going to use this week, just to relax a little bit more, and then I'll get back into it next week. So I think it's just about understanding, although you can make it a priority, sometimes, work and whatnot is going to naturally just take over. It's kind of out of your control. But I think just like we were speaking about last podcast, just controlling what you can.
Mhm.
So yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's
There's only so much you can control. But what about like your other relationships? Have you always been with someone, or have you ever been with someone that hasn't been into their fitness?
Do you know what? It's actually so funny because I've never been with someone that's not
Me
like
too.
that. Yeah, never. I think it's something for me that is a big thing. I feel like I would really, really struggle to be with someone if they weren't. It was actually my very first boyfriend that got me into the gym when I was like 15, 16. So I was always into like the nutrition and all of that kind of side. I was kind of into working out, but not at a gym, more like home workouts. And then meeting him, he actually introduced me to a gym and introduced me to training. And then I fell in love with it. So yeah, and then I think about other people that I've like dated before. It's like they've always been, because that was a thing for me that I look for. If they didn't train, like I know that sounds kind of bad, or like it was kind of like a way I was like, oh, like how are we going to, like it would be really hard. Like I have friends, they're trying to be really healthy, or even like one of my friends, she was competing and her partner was eating like takeaway every night in front of her. Like didn't care about his health. And they actually, she said they clashed so much because it's like she was trying to get him to be healthier. And then, yeah, it just like he was set in his way. So I think it's really hard. But yeah, it's funny. It's like, it's something that I have to look for in someone. You know what I mean? And I was always like that. What about
Yeah.
you?
I'm exactly the same, like
Yeah.
exactly the same. I feel like it's just like, because it's part of who I am, like it's part of your values. Like you
Yeah.
have to make sure that your values align, not every single thing, but your
Yeah.
value with the other person. Like me too, like I will be the same. Like I've never been with anyone, like honestly, anyone that hasn't been like into fitness. They're
Yeah.
always been like either personal trainers or maybe like bodybuilders or just
Yeah.
guys like fitness, like training, and they look after themselves. And it's not so much because of the way they look. Yes, that's good, that's sexy, we like that. But I think for me, it's more about like, okay, I know this guy respects himself. Like I know this guy makes
Yeah.
time for himself. I know this guy that makes training a priority, which means he makes himself a priority, his body, his mind. So that's something, a quality that I truly, truly love. Because
Yeah.
if it's someone that just eats whatever, or someone who doesn't make the time for themselves to go train, someone that, doesn't prioritize that, for me, I'll just be like, what are you doing with your life? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
I just wouldn't be able to understand. And I just feel like we'll
And
be pushing.
yeah, and then those people as well, they can't relate to you. So they're like, oh, you're going to the gym again. Or it's like, oh, we've
Mhm.
got this on. Like, why do you need to go? Like, you know what I mean? So um, it's always like, for me, I'm like the same as you, like training's always a priority, no matter what's going on in my life, no matter how busy I am. Like even this week being so sick, I was like, I'm gonna rest, but like even today I was feeling a bit better. I just did like a really light session, like it was light, but I was like, I'm just gonna do it. I didn't feel the best, but I'm like, I felt like I had to. Like it's something that's a part of me.
Yeah.
And not saying that when you're sick you have to train, but it's like I feel like I'm just on that level, and then my partner understands, he's like, make sure you rest, but he's like, he can understand where I'm coming from with why I want to train and whatnot.
Yeah, I think it just makes the relationship works better and it's easier because
Yeah,
both are on the same page about that. And like you don't have to, I feel like with relationships, like you don't have to agree or have the same thing on everything. Like you don't have to
yeah,
agree
yeah,
on everything or
exactly.
be on the same page with everything. Like obviously there's always gonna be things that you guys don't agree, but I think some
Yeah,
fitness, something that you have to spend invest time, whether it's you train in the morning, it's night or whatever, but making that investment, I think it does make a difference if your partner is into his fitness or if he's not. Because
yeah,
that will just, I think that for some people that will decide how successful you are with your fitness. Because some
yeah,
people will get very influenced by their partners, like your friend, like she was competing. I think she was so strong for competing, even though the
yeah,
partner was getting takeaways. But some people might not have that strong mindset, and they'll
yeah,
just think, oh, okay, I'll join you this time, and the next time, and the next time, and they're like, you know what? I'm just gonna put my fitness on hold. It's just not working, and that's
yeah,
what so many girls, when they start going out with someone like a brand new guy, they gain so much weight.
yeah, yeah, that's why.
They
Because
go from
yeah,
looking like this.
yeah, yeah. They eat out a lot and whatnot. So yeah, that's a thing as well. Like people getting into a new relationship, they get comfortable. They're like, oh, I don't have to focus on my like health and fitness anymore. And it's like, no, you still do. So I think, yeah, that's when you can tell that the influence of the partner when they go into a relationship and they put on weight. Like I feel like I always look better in a relationship because I'm like, I still have those, the same morals and the same values. And then because my partner trains and he looks after himself, I want to make sure I do as well. You know what I mean? So, but it's interesting. I always think because I've actually never, because my partner, he's not a junk food eater or anything like that. I always wonder, like, I wonder if I was surrounded by that, what I would be like. I've never been surrounded by it. So I don't know any different. Like, people are like, oh, like, you don't have this in your house. Oh, we don't have chocolates and chips and all this stuff lying around because we would only really buy that if like people were coming over or like visitors or whatever. But we don't just have it there because we're just very like, you
Yeah.
know, we have what we need and that's it. So I always wonder if my partner was someone that just ate what he wanted and ate a lot of junk. I'm like, I wonder how I would be like if I,
I feel like you wouldn't be with him.
yeah, yeah. But then I always think like I'm a strong person, but it's like, would I have the willpower if it's like right in front of my face? And then I can kind of sympathize with some people who say like, oh, it's always around me. I'm like, it would be hard, but I think you've got to really be strong to be like, okay, my goals are better than that. You know what I mean? And I think even like when I used to work in a gym and train a lot of women, it was sad because they would try so hard with their nutrition, but their partners would go out and buy all this stuff from the shops, and it's like in front of them, and like, oh, have one, oh, you're fine, and like really like kind of push them to eat it. And
Yeah.
it's like it's really sad when like they're really trying to stick to their goals, and they just didn't understand it.
Yeah.
So,
I think it's sad, but I think like even if your partner pushes you to have those cookies or those chips because they have in it, I think yes, they can push you, but they cannot really force you to do something you don't want to do. And I think
exactly.
it
Yeah.
shows like you just have to do the work on your mindset. Because
Yeah.
like now I feel like I've worked my mindset so much for so many years. Like when my partner, whenever he has some chips or like ice cream or things that he brings for him, he can eat it in front of me. And now I never feel like, oh my gosh, give me what give me
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
But it's because it took me a long time to develop that mindset. So I think if you right now you're listening to this or watching this and you feel like that's not me, like I don't have that mindset, my partner brings all these things home and I just want to feel like eating everything.
Yeah.
Just take time. It just takes time to develop that mindset. And I think having that conversation with your partner and saying something like, you know what, I'm gonna start with this fitness journey. This is very important for me. I will really appreciate if you can respect this. I will really like if you don't eat those things in front of me, or maybe,
Yeah.
just have that communication. Like if you
Mm.
have that open communication, how do you expect them to know that this is important for you?
Yeah.
Maybe they just see you, oh, she's eating this again, like whatever, she doesn't care about this. Maybe that's why they think because you keep doing it. But if you have that open conversation and tell them how you feel and set your boundaries, I think that makes a huge difference.
Yeah, it does, definitely. That's
Communication
the
is
problem. I think people don't communicate enough.
Mhm.
It's really sad. It's like I remember, like I was saying before, training a lot of women, and they were afraid to tell their partner, like, look, this is what I'm trying to do. And sometimes their partners will turn around and be like, but why do you need to, like, who are you training for? Like, like really try to turn it like that. And it's like, you don't have to be training for someone, it's for
Mhm.
yourself. You know what I mean? Like, I think of the reasons that I train, the reason why I do bodybuilding, it's purely for myself. Like, it's not for anyone else. It's a goal that I have. It's like, I want to prove that I can do it. You know what I mean? And it's like, it's really sad that people have to let go of their goals because they don't have that support network around them.
Yeah.
And this was going back to like something that we mentioned in one of our podcasts, like surrounding yourself with positive people and people that understand your goals. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of family members, there's some that don't, but there's a lot now, I think, because they know the way that I have been for years. They just know that, sometimes, especially in prep, I might bring my food, or if I am at a barbecue or something, I'll opt for the healthier options, and they don't judge me because of it. They're like, we know, like, that's how you are, and like, we respect that. So that for me is really good, because at least I can go there and enjoy myself and not have to worry, oh, what are they going to say? What are they going to, like, they never would say, oh, come on, just have it. You know what I mean? But then you've got that odd family member that's like,
There's always one.
like, you're not even competing soon. Like, why do you need to eat healthy for? And I'm like, it's not about the competition, it's about myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and not saying that I am perfect every single day and I don't eat but anything off track, but it's like, if there's environments where I feel like I can eat healthier, then I will. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah. So
Yeah,
that's
that's my family. Well, that used to be my family.
yeah.
Always tell me like, come on, like it's just one, like eat this, like what are you doing? You're looking so skinny, you're looking like
Yeah.
that. And it's because they don't know, like they don't really know how important it is to you. And you
Yeah.
just have to make sure that you don't let those voices or you don't let them affect you. Because if you pay too much attention to them, that's simply gonna hold you back. And then
Yeah.
you won't be able to keep going with your fitness journey. And it's gonna be one of those another time that you're gonna be like, I got started with my journey, but something happened. So you take a few
Yeah.
steps forward and then you take a few steps back. And you keep doing this constant cycle and you feel like you're never gonna be able to push forward because you keep listening
Yeah.
to what they're saying, what they're telling you, what they're giving you, or maybe you keep using, I think it's an excuse, like you keep using the excuse of like, oh, but there's just
Yeah.
around me. There's too many things around me. There's too much alcohol around me. There's too much temptation. There's always going to be that temptation. Always, 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 always.
Always.
But
Yeah.
I feel like if you truly want to do something, if you would truly want to achieve this goal, your fitness journey, you will make it happen somehow.
Yeah.
You will make it work. When you truly want something, you will make it work. But if you don't want it 100%, you will
Yeah.
make up all the excuses in the world. Like,
That's right. Like,
all the
there's
excuses.
there's really no excuse. Like, at the end of the day, like, I know people that say, oh, but if I don't eat this at this occasion, that person will get offended. And I'm like, if they get offended, like, why are you like, why are you going there? Like that you shouldn't have to feel like you need to hide what you're doing. Like I've even had some people like that have gone to things and people say, "Oh, you look so good. Like, what are you doing?" And they're afraid to tell them that they're on a journey or they've got a coach or, because of that judgment side. And I'm like, they're not people that you want to be around if they're not supporting your goal. You know what I mean? Even if they're not, like, I actually have cousins and even some of my like husband's cousins who they're not into fitness, but they are so supportive of my goal and my lifestyle. You know what I mean? So it's like you want to be around those people that are supportive and understanding, and you shouldn't like people shouldn't get offended if you don't, if you
Yeah.
don't have anything. You know what I mean? Like, so I think that's really important as well. Just making sure who you spend your time with, if they're not getting you closer to your goal. And it sounds harsh because sometimes it is family, sometimes it is someone close. But at the end of the day, if people don't want to support your goals, are
Mm.
they really true family, true friends, or they really care about you,
Yeah.
especially if you're doing it for health reasons as well. Like I have clients that they're on this journey because, yeah, okay, they want to lose weight, but they want to be healthier for their kids, for their family. And if someone's going to judge you for that, like that's just, to me, I would just be like, no, that's just wrong. Like, you know what I
Mm.
mean?
Yeah.
So,
I think environment is everything.
yeah.
Literally everything. And sometimes obviously you cannot change your environment. Like you cannot change your family. Your family is your family. You cannot just be
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I don't want to be friends with you anymore, or I don't want to
Yeah,
be
yeah.
anymore. Like it's just your family. But I also think that sometimes when people say, I don't want to say no to this person because they're gonna get offended. Are they really gonna get offended, or is it just you assuming that they're gonna get offended?
Yeah,
I
that's
feel
right.
like it can happen both ways. I think some people, yes, they do get offended, but I also think that maybe sometimes we overthink too much and we always feel like people are talking about us or people are saying things about us, so we don't want to do things because, oh, if I do this, they're going to say something. If I do,
Yeah,
they're going to say something. So it's just like, try to think about that. Like, is it a you problem or is it really like
yeah.
like a different problem? Something to consider. And then something I was going to mention about the environment. I've got one client actually, she is into this fitness journey. We've been working together for maybe 4 months, but yeah, 4 months, something like that. And obviously she's eating clean. She's fueling her body with the right nutrients. But her family, they're doing the complete opposite, like literally the complete opposite. And she always tells me, she's like, Danny, like there's way too much temptation at home. Like there's always takeaways at home. There's always this things
Yeah,
at home. There's always, things that I like lollies, chocolates, and all of that. I'm like, I do get it. Like I know that will be hard because you only just getting started. But something I want to think about next time you are eating your portion of steak and kumara and salad, and they're eating KFC, for example. Think about how that's affecting them because you told me that they're obese. You told me that they are overweight.
mm,
Maybe they don't see it now, but
yeah,
something might happen in the future. They can develop so many health problems that it's something that you don't want. I'm sure they don't want. And if
yeah,
you continue with this journey, if you keep making progress, maybe they're going to start looking at you as motivation.
yeah.
Maybe
That's
they're going to start looking up to you. So I think that's also a mindset shift that you can have. Like if you are in an environment or with your partner or family that they're always having takeaways, they're always eating yummy things, and you feel like I'm not able to eat those things,
yeah,
just think about how this is affecting them, not just physically, but their health and how this is going to affect them long term, and think that maybe you can be the motivation to help them get started with their own journey, because so many people don't realize they keep eating McDonald's, they keep eating all this processed food, junk food, not just once or twice a week but pretty much every single night, and they don't really think about how that's gonna literally
yeah,
affect them, yeah, long term. Like, yeah, so many things can happen. So just I
yeah,
think that's a good point for you guys to think about and consider next time there's too much temptation around.
yeah, yeah, definitely. Like I've
Yeah.
got a client actually, it was really good. Her partner wasn't the healthiest, but him seeing her go through the journey and how much better she felt and how much happier she was, he was actually like, oh, you know what? How about when you cook dinner, I'll have the same. Just make extra for me. And like then it was so good for her. That's when she was a lot less stressed because she had kids as well. She wasn't making like 10 different dishes. You know what I mean? She was just making, a different dish for her kids, and then her and her husband would have the same thing. She might just add, a little bit more to his. So that was really good. And I saw that and I was like, wow, like, it is possible to, I think, long enough if you stick to it and your partner's able to see the changes, eventually they're going to be like you were saying, oh, like looking good, feeling good, maybe I'll try it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I think that's important as well. So if you are listening to this or watching this and your partner's just not into it at the moment, like give it some time, and then maybe even it's a discussion that you have to have. Like even if you're saying, look, I'm going to cook the same thing for you, but I'll make sure I add this or add some rice or add some carbs, like a little bit more for them if you're someone that is in a deficit or whatnot. Add some more for them, but that way they can kind of get used to eating healthier and not opt in for other options. Because I've even got some, they will still cook and their partner will just order Uber Eats, like and it's like they're not cooking for them, but they're still not eating right. So yeah, I think that's something that people should do. Just stick with it, have that discussion with them. Like you were saying before, communication is everything. And I
Mhm.
think not enough people communicate. They just kind of let it go. And it's like, oh, I don't want to say anything to upset them or make them feel, or put them down. It's like you're not putting them down, you're looking out for them at the end of the day. So
Mm. Yeah,
yeah.
and like maybe they might get upset when you say something, but it's better that they get upset now that
Yeah.
something later happens and then you're like, oh, I wish I said something or I wish I did something before. Like, don't wait for that thing to happen because some things that can happen to our health, some things cannot be undone. Like if
Yeah.
you get a stroke, that cannot be undone. You cannot go back and reverse that and change that. Like if you get a stroke, some people are lucky, nothing happens. Some other people, they might have some like vision problems or like they won't be able to walk, they won't be able to move. There's so many things that can happen. So don't wait for that wake up call. Don't wait for something to happen. If you know you can help someone right now, or even if it's helping yourself, which is the main character that you want to help, do something. Like don't wait for that thing to happen. I think, yeah, it's a big wake up call for everyone. Because again, we keep saying this every single podcast, but fitness is not just about having that amazing physique and having those
Yeah.
toned shoulders and legs, but it's
It's
more
about,
about your health.
yeah, definitely.
It's more about your health. Yeah. And I was actually talking to my coach, my business coach last week, and he was telling us how before he became a business coach, he was a fitness coach before. So he was actually helping his ankle, but by the time he tried to help him, it was a little bit too late. And
Mm.
even though he started exercising and eating healthy, he was way too obese. So he
Mm.
got a stroke, no, sorry, heart attack, and then you
That's
know
it.
that's
Yeah.
it. And like it because like it was too late.
Yeah.
It just shows like there's only so much you can do, but it's also
Yeah.
sometimes it's too late and there's nothing you can do. Like right now they cannot go back, they cannot
Yeah.
reverse time and be like, okay, let's start with you finish journey a little bit earlier. It's like, yeah, it's one of those things like you have to hear it or see it from someone else for then you to be like, oh, actually, yeah, maybe I'm gonna invest more
Yeah.
time into this or put more attention or put more time. Yeah.
Exactly. And you know what's really sad as well? Some of these people who are so unhealthy, they don't, because they've been feeling the same for so long, they don't even realize how unhealthy they are. They don't even realize that the way that they're feeling is not normal, feeling lethargic, feeling tired all the time. They just think, oh, I'm busy with work, with this, like it's a normal feeling. And it's like, it's not that, it's related to their health. So they'll just keep doing what they're doing. You know what I mean? They will keep ordering takeout every day, like and this is what I don't understand as well. Like people like save money as well. Like, it's so expensive eating out every day, so and I think they just don't know any different until they're not going to know until they actually change and eat healthier and they feel the benefits of that. And obviously it's not going to be, just 1 week of eating healthy. It's over time, adopting healthier habits and having a healthier lifestyle. They're going to feel so much better. So I think that's another important thing to realize, like the way that you're feeling, if you're someone that's listening to this that is quite unhealthy, it's probably not because you're tired. It's probably not because of work. It's probably because you need to actually live a healthier lifestyle. So yeah, I think that's another thing as well. Some people don't even realize. And then like you said, they get to 60, 70 and it's too late. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? They've just been in this run like for so long, just that same cycle. So I think it's really important. And people don't value health or they don't understand health enough. I
Mm-mm.
think with
No.
all the promotion around it, you think that they would, but I feel like people still don't understand. They just think, oh, eating healthy is so hard, or, exercising is
Mm,
so hard. And it's like, it's not, or some people will say, oh, all you care about is like body image. And they say it's not about body image. It's like, it's about health as well. Health is first. Like, health is like top priority before the way that you look. You
yeah.
know what I mean? I even say that to my clients. Like, our number one thing is health. Yes, obviously your goal is weight loss, and like you were saying, to look toned, to look this, but the priority is your health and making
Mm,
sure that that's on track. So
yeah.
yeah,
I think people want to make it hard because it's easier to make that excuse of it's hard, I don't want to do it,
yeah,
rather than actually doing the work. And it's not hard, like it's hard if you make it hard. If you
yeah,
overcomplicate things, if you go from 0 to 100, of course it's
yes,
gonna be very hard. But you
yeah,
just have to make sure that you take your time. And that's why I think like working with a professional, working with a coach, and I'm not just saying this because I'm a coach, but it does make a huge difference because when you try things by yourself, you make so many mistakes that you get disappointed and you get frustrated, and that's why you don't keep going with your journey, because you tell yourself like, what's the point?
yeah,
I'm putting so much work time into everything and I'm just not getting any changes, I'm not getting any results, and then you get discouraged and then you stop, and then it's this constant cycle of you trying or waiting for the perfect moment or just saying that it's too hard. But also something that you mentioned about money earlier, like people spend money on Uber Eats or like takeaways every single day, and then they tell you, I don't have money to get started with my fitness journey.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's like,
Like you do, but you're just not investing the money the right way.
yeah, that's
It's
right.
it's your money, yes, but if you have the money to spend buying coffee in like a Subway every single day, that's
Yeah.
roughly $20 a day. If you
Yeah.
had five
Like,
times
it's
a
not cheap
week,
these days. It's not like it's $5. It's
no.
anywhere from $15 to $20. If you add that up over the week, it's probably less than getting coaching or investing in your health.
Yeah.
And it's like, where are your priorities? You know what I mean? And
Mm,
it goes back to, people would just put it down to, it's too hard. It's just easy for me to walk past the takeaway shop and get it.
mm,
But if you have it prepped and it's there, like, that's easy as well. Or some people will be like, I don't have access to a microwave. But you'll go and get like a sandwich or a wrap. You can make that at home. You know what I
yeah.
mean? And take that with you. So, like my husband, he's on the road. Like, he's a truck driver. So he doesn't always have access to a microwave. He might have to stop somewhere, like at a petrol station, to heat up his meal. But if he doesn't, he will just have to eat it cold. And it's like, you still can. I think it's, people just put it in that it's too hard.
Exactly.
Like, it's hard, and then you get to the end of the week. Like, I don't think actually people realize how much they spend. Like, it could be like 100, if not more, once they
Mm,
add it all up. If they've got lunch, they've got coffee. If they've eaten out dinner 2, 3 nights a week, you add that up, it could be even more, like $100 to $200 a week that they're spending, when they could invest that elsewhere and actually make their food from home.
yeah.
So yeah, it's really,
That's something that you guys can try. Like, look at your bank account from last,
yeah,
like, see how much money you spent on just food. Obviously, nothing to do with your shopping, but maybe like a coffee place or cafeteria or like
yeah,
Subway, those takeaways. See how much money you spend. Like, I feel with me, since I started with my journey, I honestly don't spend money on that at all.
no,
Coffee maybe like once a week if I'm feeling fancy, like once a week. But if not, yeah, we have takeaways once a week. Yes, so that's once a week. But I
yeah,
just will never spend every single day going to
yeah,
the place and getting like a chicken wrap or whatever. Yeah, it's just money that you don't need to spend. Also, time that you don't need to waste going there, getting your thing.
yeah, that's
You can
it.
save your
It's just
money.
there. Yeah,
Yeah. And what do you think about like some people when they start going out with someone, or even if they've been in the relationship for a long time, they use the excuse of the only thing me and my partner do for fun, or the only thing we can do for fun is just going out to eat something.
yeah, yeah. So that's the thing as well. Like, I look at me and my husband, and we don't have like date night every week where we go out every week. You know what I mean? Um, we will have like a one-off meal once a week. Sometimes it's just from home, and it's like, you can still enjoy each other's company doing other things. You
Mm,
know what I mean? Like, there's so many other things that we do, and I feel like we actually have a better relationship because we are able to still, or we feel good about ourselves because we're still able to stay on track, still work towards our goals, still enjoy each other's company in other ways. And it's like these other people are going out to dinner all the time. They're like, we have to go out to dinner. We have to eat out. You know what I mean? And it's like, you don't have to, you can still enjoy each other's company. At the end of the day, you're just sitting down and eating. You could be, doing other activities. I don't know, you could be going to the movies, you could be going for a nice walk somewhere, you could be going, I don't know, bowling, aqua golf, whatever it is, right? Like it doesn't always have to be food focused.
Yeah.
I feel like people always use that as a way of like, that's how we're going to, you know, keep our relationship, not even just with their partner, but with their friends. Like it always has to be around food. And it's like, it doesn't have to be, and it's like a lot of these people, they're focused on that. And then these are the ones that turn around and say, I'm overweight because my partner, like, because we have to eat out every week. And I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah. And I'm like, well, you don't have to, you know what I mean? So, and then people are like, oh, but I can't be bothered cooking and I can't be, and it's like, yeah, that's fine, but it doesn't mean you have to go out and literally, just eat everything,
Mm.
under the sun, or like, go out for dessert 2-3 times a week. I'm all for like balance. Even my clients, I say to them, like have a one-off meal per week. If you want to have an ice cream, have an ice cream. But it's like, what are you doing in that moment? Like, are you just going all out? Are you, are you making it like a regular thing where you're doing it like Friday, Saturday, Sunday because you think like, we're not working. This is a time that we have together. You know what I mean? So I think people really need to stop and think, okay, what are some other things that we can do?
Yeah.
Even like cook something at home together, like make it fun. Like, we've made things at home and it's nice. You're just sitting around, watching TV, eating a nice meal that you've made. It may not be your usual like meal prepped healthy meal, but it's still, you're still enjoying it. You know what I mean? So, and you're enjoying that experience together. So,
Yeah. I think, yeah, when people tell me like that's the only thing me and my partner do, that's the only way we bond with each other.
yeah,
Is it really like that's the only way
yeah,
you want to make it? Because there's
that's
so
right.
many different ways. Like you said, you can go play bowling, go for a walk. You don't need money. Like if money is an issue, you don't need the money. You can just go for a walk. You can go to the beach. You can go
Yeah,
to like a nice waterfall. You can do so many things. Like
so much.
if
Yeah,
you want to make it around food, you will make it around food. If you
yeah,
don't want to make it around food, you won't make it around food. And you'll find different things to do. Like I think it goes back to people using excuses because it's easier.
yeah, yeah,
You know,
that's
it's
right.
much easier to say like that's the only way me and my partner bond. That's the only thing we do for fun. That's the only way we can truly connect.
Mm.
How can you connect with someone when you're eating? Like, yes, you're eating something, but I feel like you're not able to talk too well.
Yeah,
You know, you have food in your mouth and you're chewing, you're enjoying your food. At least if
yeah,
you're
yeah.
enjoying your food, I feel like, yeah, it's not for me, it's not the best way to connect with.
Yeah, like I guess some people, I don't know, there's some people out there that they just really enjoy that time, maybe away from home with their partner, having a nice meal, and that's fine. But it's like, if it is something that is affecting your goals or it's making you, go completely off track, you need to reassess, okay, what
Mm,
can we do to make this a better experience or make my journey easier? If you're someone that Monday to Friday you eat really well and then on the weekend, because you and your partner aren't working or whatever, you are just going out for breakfast, going out for lunch, going out for dinner. It's like, you might have to compromise and say, okay, maybe let's just go out for breakfast every Sunday or go out for brunch, like not making it something where it's like a whole day where you're off track and it's like, you just spiral out of control. Then you get to Monday and your weight's back up again, and then you get back down, and then the weekend comes and it goes back up. Like it's like a yo-yo. You know what I mean?
yeah.
It's like, and what we were talking about before, that, the calories on the weekend count as well.
Mm.
So I think it's important to realize that. And, even some of my clients, they're really good. Like when they go out, they'll still try to order, like be conscious of what they order. So you can still go out and enjoy a meal, but, you can still be healthy about it. Like especially breakfast, you can just get like simple eggs, avocado on toast or something like that, where it's not going to completely throw you off track,
Yeah.
but it's something different that you're having. So yeah, it's just about compromise, evaluating what you're doing on the weekend. Because I know some couples, it's just like once the weekend comes, food. And that's how they feel like you were saying before,
Yeah.
that's the only way they bond, because that's the only way they know how. Because that's
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
yeah, like let's bond with food, let's bond with food. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
um yeah, it's just about, I guess, trying to change a little bit of the habits that
Yeah.
you and try to adopt a healthier lifestyle for the both of you. Because it's really sad to see people, they get into relationships and they just let themselves go. And it's like, you can't just let yourself go because you're in a relationship, you know.
Exactly.
Just because you're not single, yeah, okay, maybe when you were single, you were trying to care about your appearance more, you're trying to look for someone, but it's like, just from a health standpoint, you were so healthy before, and it's like now you just let yourself go. Um, so yeah, I think it's just really important for people to assess, like,
Yeah.
what is our relationship about? Is it serving my goals best? What do we need to maybe do to compromise? You know what I mean? And
Mm.
it's so nice to see, like, some of my clients have the partners and they're really supportive. And then you've got the other side where it's just
Yeah.
like they're
Yeah.
not.
Same.
And it's like there's no in between. It's like they're either supportive or they're not. So yeah, it is really hard. And it's hard when someone is very stuck in their ways to change their mind and to try to get them to understand. But I think it's all about having that open communication, looking for other ways to bond with your partner and not make it always around food.
Yeah, but now that you mentioned, like how we mentioned, some people when they start a new relationship, they kind of lose themselves and they gain weight, or they go off track. Or when they were single, yeah, they were on top of the fitness. As soon as they get in a relationship, they go a different way. But I think that kind of tells you that you were not really doing this for yourself. Because
Yeah,
if you are
100%.
truly, if you have that amazing relationship with yourself, it doesn't
Yep.
matter what relationship you're in, you're always gonna be doing the things that are the best for you, because that's something that works for you. That's something that you're doing for yourself. If you get into a relationship and then that changes, then maybe you were not doing that in the first place. So I think, like, before getting into any relationship, you always have to build that relationship with yourself first, and make sure
100%.
you have like your values right. Make sure that you know yourself first. Make sure that you're doing everything for yourself first, even though maybe it sounds selfish, I don't know, but you just have to do the work by yourself first.
Yeah.
Because once you do, it's going to be easier to have those boundaries when you're in a relationship. It's going to be easier to set those goals and just have that communication, and it just makes things easier for you, for your relationship, for like everything around you, like everything that you do. Otherwise, you're always going to feel like, I break up with my boyfriend, I'm gonna get the revenge body, and then new relationship, I gain all the weight, and then break up, revenge body, and then
Yeah, yeah. So,
you really want to be going like up and down. Like, you
yeah.
need to do this for yourself. Don't do it to impress anyone else. Do
Yeah.
it because you want to look good. You want to feel good about your body. And something else I was gonna mention that you mentioned, but I forgot about it now. I was gonna say something that I forgot. Okay, it will come to
It'll
me.
come to you. It'll
It
come
will
to
come
you.
to me. Yeah.
I know, it's like there's that you could talk about so much in this like regard as well. Like, even it's funny. Also, I wanted to mention, when both people are really into their fitness, I find when it becomes hard is when they have kids and it's like, okay, who's going to the gym? Who's going, like, you know what I mean? When you have kids,
Mhm.
I find that's another thing that can be quite hard too. When you're both into your fitness and like kids come into the mix, it's easier when you don't have kids because there's no responsibility at home and whatnot. But now someone's always got to, like, they have to be home. So if you're with someone who has said like, oh no, you need to stay home with the kids, like I've got to go, like you really need to have that discussion with them and work out a schedule
Yeah.
that's going to work for you. Because I know couples that have had a lot of conflict when kids have come into the mix, because it's like one is like, feels like, well, no, I want to stick to my routine of training. And it's like, okay, you do have to compromise then. So like, I know a lot of people in that, well, they do it the right way, where it's like one will go and then come back and the other one will go, or they work out some sort of schedule. Maybe these are the days that I'm going to work out. These are the days that you're going to work out, type of thing. Like, work out a schedule where they're both still able to achieve their goals, because it's really sad when people have kids and they just think, oh, I can't do it anymore, or yeah, like both of us can't be into the gym or focus on our goals. It can only be one of us. And it's like, that's really sad. Like you really have to, work out a schedule. And I know so many couples who do this like very successfully, and they have such a good relationship because they're allowing each other to have that time to focus on their goals. You know what I mean? So, and that's another thing I say to my clients as well. Like I'm not telling them go and, tell off your husband. He's going to the gym
Yeah.
and you're not, but it's like speak to him and be like, look, I really want to go to feel better about myself. Can we work out a schedule? And I'm sure if you spoke to them about it, at the end of the day, your partner should love you and respect you. So if they do, they should be willing to make that time for you,
Mm,
so, or let you have that time.
yeah.
Even if it's just 40 minutes of you going into the garage to do a workout, or into another room without the kids to do a workout. I think that's really important. So this is where it comes to that mutual understanding as well. So there's that
Yeah.
side of things as well. Like it can cause conflict when both are really into their fitness, and it's like trying to work out once kids come into the mix, like, okay, how do we do this? So yeah, just like we said, open communication. At the end of the day, like if my partner turned around to me and said no, like I would be like,
Who
okay,
are you?
yeah, you are not the person for
Yeah,
me. Okay? Like I know he would have.
exactly.
It's like you got to think about, does this person love and respect you enough to make you still feel good about yourself, even when kids have come into it.
Yeah.
So I think that's really important as well.
Yeah, I think communication. Like if you don't communicate with your partner, remember people are just gonna assume things. And like if you don't want them to see them, you wanna make sure you have that open communication. And you wanna make sure you tell them, hey, like this is very important for me. I will really
Yeah,
appreciate it, blah, 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 whatever. Work out a schedule. But I think, yeah, you shouldn't put anything on hold. Yes, there are times that you're gonna have to compromise something, but
yeah,
if you have that conversation and you have that talk and you make it work and you're willing to make it work, you will make it work.
that's
If you
right.
want to do something, and if for whatever reason, like you said, your partner doesn't agree or your partner doesn't respect you, then is he or she really the best partner for you? Like
Yeah,
that's for you to consider. Like I wouldn't want to be with someone that doesn't respect me or doesn't value me
yeah,
or doesn't respect the things that I like, that I love. It's just
yeah,
like, yeah, you want to make sure that you don't have to be on the same page, but you want to make sure that you respect each other and you
yeah,
respect your
that's right.
boundaries and the things that you believe in and your values and everything. So that's something else for you guys to think about after this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely, because there's a lot of mothers, even they go through that depression after and this is why, because their life is so different now.
Yeah.
And it's like before they were able to do things for themselves. So having that little bit of time for themselves, like if your partner, and this is like, we're not going to just say husbands because it could be like wives as well, like
Mhm.
depending on what side it's on. But it's like if your partner can't allow you 40 minutes a few times a week to look up, like it's like really, like they can't help you out for just that short amount of time. It's just making that sacrifice. And it's like I see this from, because I do train a lot of mums and they've come to me and it's like this is why they spiraled and they put a lot of weight on, because they were in that routine and now they're not. And that's fine, because when you have kids it's not easy, but it's
Mhm.
like you should be able to communicate with your partner to really help you get back on track and have some sort of, not, you're not always going to have a routine, but some sort of time to yourself
Yeah.
where you can focus on your goals. So yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's really like a
Yeah.
successful relationship. Yeah.
Yeah. But I think like the main point we want to tell you guys is these flies are killing me. Number one, it's like you just, gotta have that relationship with yourself first. Like make sure you respect yourself first. Make sure you have your boundaries right first before you do anything. Obviously, we're no one to tell you or give you relationship advice. Like we're just telling you what from our experiences, what we've
That's right.
done, things that have worked for us. And I
Yeah.
just feel like doing that work on yourself first for me, it helped me so much to then have a successful relationship. It's not perfect, obviously. I feel like it will never be perfect, but at least you're very clear with the things that you want and the things that you don't want. So I think that self-love, that self-relationship is number one thing.
Yeah.
Make sure that
Definitely.
you are making time for yourself. Make sure that you have that open communication with your partner. Don't keep things for yourself. Don't think that they're gonna assume that you know and they don't know. It just gets messy. If it gets
Yeah.
messy and complicated, it's never gonna work. But if you have that communication, you're gonna make things much, much clearer, and it's gonna be easier for you to stick to your fitness goals. And yeah, just do what loves like. Don't use that as an excuse. If you want to make it happen, you will make it happen. You'll find a way somehow. But if you don't, you will find excuses.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. But is there anything else you want to mention or any other tip before we go?
No, like you said before, like we don't want people to think that, we're coming on here and being like, divorce your
Yeah,
partner,
no.
but it's like,
No.
it just from our experience and I think working with a lot of
Yeah.
people that are in relationships, we can kind of see the effect that it has on your health and your goals. So yeah, just make sure at the end of the day, you have one life, one body. You want to make it the best one. Not only for yourself, for your kids, setting an example for your kids
Yeah.
of what a healthy lifestyle should look like. There's so many other things. So yeah, just like you said, communication, taking time for yourself, and yeah, just having other things that are not so food focused when you're trying to bond with not only your partner, but other people around, friends and family. Yeah.
Yeah, with your environment. But thank you so much, guys, for watching or listening to the podcast. Remember, we'll be here every single week, every single Thursday. Send us your questions, your challenges, your concerns, so we can discuss any of these topics and help you with your fitness journey. If you like this, make sure to share it on your social media and tag me and Elisa. Until next time, and as I always say, don't ever stop believing in yourself. Ciao.